Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for joining us this evening for this first 90-degree day in our town. Look forward to a couple more warm days here. Please pay attention to the heat index and be careful as you're outside. At this time, I'll welcome everyone, and I will ask Mr. Hinkle if he would give us an invocation.
May we bow our heads, please. Father in heaven, we ask for your wisdom as we begin this meeting. Guide us in our discussions and decisions, helping us to seek what is best for all involved. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Please rise as we repeat our Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for your participation. At this time, council members, you've got your agendas in front of you. I'll ask if there are any amendments to tonight's agenda.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to continue item number 12 that's on our agenda to our July meeting, sir.
Any other?
Mr. Mayor, if I may.
On item number 12 that Councilman now would like to continue, the applicant has requested that we do continue. However, due to public announcement notices, staff would prefer that you all go ahead with it, open up the public hearing portion, and then postpone it until next month, if that is you all's pleasure.
My understanding from legal counsel is we will still continue it, and we don't have to repost it.
That is correct, yes, sir.
Okay. Any other items?
Speaking of the public hearing tonight, you can still have it and then continue all until the next time, so it's just, you want to continue the whole thing versus a two-night public hearing.
Okay. Let me ask, is anyone here, do you have the agenda, would like to speak on the rezoning request regarding the Atlas Principles rezoning request?
Mr. Mayor, Andy on the front row had indicated that he was going to be speaking toward
Okay.
that topic.
Okay. All right. So, Mr. Now, if you would, we will postpone that until the July meeting. That's still accurate. We will open the public hearing, but we will address that at that time.
Okay,
All right,
thank you, Mr. Mayor.
thank you. Any other items? Okay. Hearing none, I'll ask for a motion to approve our agenda as presented.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, is there a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is our consent agenda, and we've got regular meeting minutes as well as agenda briefing minutes and a closed session set of minutes. In addition, a facade approval for Smith Village Commercial Development. That's a recommendation by the DRB Board. Consideration for a request to waive fines for UDO violation at 152 Pine State Road, and our year-end budget amendments. All these items will be approved with one motion unless the council member requests it be removed. Is there a motion regarding our consent items?
I'll make that motion also, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
A motion is made to approve our consent items as presented. Received a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. Okay, the next item on the agenda is recognition of Mr. Jason Edwards as our Town of Troutman Employee of the Month. And I'll turn it over to Mr. Wyatt.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. At this time, we're going to have Public Works Director Austin Wall come up to the podium and explain why we chose this individual.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Jason has been employed since October of 2022. He was hired as a public works technician. He quickly learned all about our wastewater pump stations, watching educational videos and studying our pump station books on his own time to learn more. Since he has been employed here, he has created multiple wastewater inspection spreadsheets as others. He's always trying to find better ways to improve the town. He recently got
Push that button.
Oh, you gotta push the button. I ain't gonna start that over.
We have changed microphones. Now we have to push a button.
Good. Let me start over.
Is it still flashing?
It's still flashing.
I have to push and hold it.
Push.
Once it turns green, then go.
It's just about all with this.
He gonna switch with you.
Do it.
He's gonna switch with you.
All right. I can read that again, I guess.
No, you can go ahead.
Good, good. So he recently got a promotion to the wastewater street supervisor. He is now over our 17 pump stations, all our wastewater inspection documentation for the state, our ever-growing miles of sewer right-of-way, as well as all the streets. He recently passed his water distribution exam. He recently came up with the idea to put the Town of Troutman logo on our street signs to distinguish our signs from NCDOT signs, as well as private street signs. He is currently working with a few vendors on this project. Jason has been an asset to the town, and we're very fortunate to have him. Jason, if you want to step up here, so I'm not by myself. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Austin, get out the way and let me know the council.
Great.
Congratulations, thank you.
Congratulations.
GQ.
No.
like to say, Jason, thank you for all that you do for the town, representing our community. It's recognition I appreciate Austin making, but on behalf of the council, we appreciate what you do every day. So thank you so much. The next item on the agenda is recognition of Gary W. Thomas, our town attorney, who is retiring. It's hard to believe after all these years, we're saying goodbye to our trusted attorney. His dedication and expertise has been invaluable to our community. We thank him for his years of service as our attorney, his commitment to uphold justice and serve our town with integrity will leave a lasting legacy. We wish him all the best in a new chapter of his life. His legal guidance and unwavering support have made a significant impact on our town. I'd like to present him with a plaque that reads Certificate of Retirement of our town, from our town. On behalf of the town council, town residents, and the greater Troutman community, I, T. Ross Young, hereby recognize Gary W. Thomas, expressing sincere thanks and gratitude for 27 years of dedicated service to the town of Troutman and the Troutman community. We wish you good health, happiness, and hope you enjoy your well-deserved retirement. We're going to present this to you tonight. However, you have to remain until we find a replacement. So.
That's something for your pontoon boat or boat. Thank you, Gary.
Thank you, Gary.
Thank you, Gary.
Let's take a picture.
Mr. Mayor, I'm just going to say one thing. I was here when Gary started with us, and I'm here when he's leaving us, so I do feel quite a bit older than I did coming in, so thank you for that, Gary. Appreciate your service. Thank you very much in all seriousness. Thank you.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is new business. The first item is a system development fee analysis. I will now open this public hearing. I believe Mr. Thomas is here.
Good evening, Mayor Young and council members. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
All right. And I'm going to miss Gary too. We do a lot of sewer projects with the town and water projects, but the sewer ones especially require his expertise, so he's going to be missed. So speaking of water and sewer, that's why I'm here tonight. And I was here 2 months ago at the April council meeting to present the first draft of this report. And it's been finalized, and there's been a public review period. And tonight, of course, is the public hearing. So I won't go into all the details. I'll go into as much detail as anyone has questions about. But I'm going to just quickly summarize it, and then we'll go from there. So this is a water and sewer system development fee analysis that our firm prepared. This is required by the state of North Carolina under General Statute 162A, Article 8, which basically, if any municipality needs to charge a fee for water or sewer connections above the actual physical tap fee, then that has to go through this analysis. And the purpose of the analysis is to look at, estimate what is the cost to provide the water and sewer capacity for your future customers. So this is not about maintaining existing customers. This is about creating the capacity needed for future customers. So therefore, it's an exercise in judgment and forecasting, and we drew on as many documents and just general knowledge as we could. We're looking ahead as much as 20 years. And in a nutshell, you need about 2.2 million gallons per day of new capacity to meet the 20-year demand. Well, obviously, that could be a lot less in 20 years, could be more. So the forecasting is our best estimate. And this would need to be updated every 5 years. That's required by the statute. You can choose to update it even more frequently. If council adopts this tonight, then it will set a maximum that you could charge for these fees. And again, this is a one-time fee that would be charged for new water and or sewer customers. This is not your monthly fees or tap fees. This is just a one-time system development fee, which Troutman has historically called that a availability fee. It's the same thing. So it's a one-time fee just to try to cover the cost for water and wastewater treatment capacity and your major infrastructure, your pump stations, your trunk lines, your water tanks, things like that. So going through the analysis, the numbers we arrived at were that the water system development fee could be as much as $5,555.19. This would be for a single residential connection, a 3/4 inch water meter connection. Anything larger than that, a commercial type establishment, an industry, that they need a larger meter, then they would pay proportionately more. For sewer, the maximum fee would be $6,139.73, again, based on a 3/4 inch water meter. So that was the results of the study, and all the calculations and so forth are in the report. That report has been available on the town's website for more than 45 days, as required by the statute. Town clerk collected comments from the public and passed those on to me. We received 2 comments. One citizen felt like the fees were too high, and another citizen thought the fees were too low. And that just goes to show you there's not an exact way to figure it. Obviously, you're forecasting what costs might be in the future for the projects and the capacity that you need. So that is a quick summary, and be glad to dig into more detail. But again, these just set a maximum. It'll be up to town council through your normal budget process or your normal fee structure process to decide what these actual fees would be. Currently, it's $2,000 for water and $3,000 for sewer. So this, if this study is accepted and adopted, and there's a resolution in your agenda for that purpose, then that would set the maximum that you could establish those fees. So I'll pause there and see if there's any questions.
Any questions for Benji?
I just want to make one comment. If I understood you correctly, next 20 years estimated an additional 2.5 million gallons of water availability.
That's correct. And what we did is just kind of look at the current rate of 200 to 300 homes per year being built. We know that's going to ramp up. More than likely, will ramp up in the coming years with the Wakefield development and others like that. Getting on beyond that is obviously much more guesswork. So we took an average that was actually less than 400. We feel like it'll be more than 400 per year on average as Wakefield develops and some of the others that have already been approved or in the approval process. So I think it's in here, I think it's about 325 per year over the 20 years. And then assuming a certain amount of commercial that goes along with that. As more homes are being built, obviously you're going to have more restaurants and that's in shopping centers and that type of thing. So there's a lot of assumptions in there, but we feel like it's very defensible, the calculations. And you kind of bring all that together, and that's where you come up with this about 2.2 million gallons a day capacity.
Again, estimation.
Yes.
What total would that be then? You know, the additional and what we're pumping?
So right now, you have several different contracts with your neighboring municipalities and Energy United. Some have expired, some will expire. So we're really not looking at, like some of those have additional capacity, you know, on paper, but they may expire before that 20 years is up. And even though you have a contract, you still have to pay as you tap into those capacities. That's your case with the town of Mooresville. So maybe to answer your question more closely is, right now, you're using almost 1 million gallons a day, like in the summertime. That's water, not sewer. But sewer's gonna be less than that. So real ballpark, rough figures, you're kind of built out of what we define as the buildable area, or the service area, is about 3 million gallons a day, is what you need.
Other questions for Mr. Thomas?
Yeah, what are our areas around us charging for these tap fees?
I haven't checked lately. The last time I looked was a year or two ago. Statesville was less than that, less than your current fees, and of course, much less than these new calculations. And I think Mooresville was about the same. But I don't have exact figures.
As the current fees or the calculations?
Well, and so their fees are based on these types of calculations. So as of at least a couple of years ago, Statesville's were quite a bit lower, and I believe Mooresville was pretty similar.
Probably said more, so
It's pretty similar to what you're charging now.
With all the upgrades and sewage or piping that you've addressed here that needs to be installed, the many miles of it, what is our projected date to have to finish those ones for the expansion that you quoted, 400 homes a year, which is likely going to be closely double that?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So there's some projects in here that have already been, they're actually probably going to be put out to bid this year, like the replacement of the Westmoreland pump station on Westmoreland Road. There's others that we feel sure are going to happen, like they're tied to the Wakefield development, for example. There's others in here that are just drawn on paper that they know they'll have to happen at some point if, like for instance, the west side of town develops. You'll need another pump station, sewer pump station, somewhere in the Hicks Creek area. So that would be triggered by some major development saying and you all, as town council, accepting that proposal to serve that area, and that would trigger that project. So these monies would be set aside for that purpose.
Are they ranked by that, by our current developed land that's under contract, and what areas will need it first? You mentioned the south side maybe developing more of the west side, but they have water towers that way. If we develop over on the north side, we may need water towers, so where does that fit in for necessity and rank of importance?
But now the order will be somewhat dictated by requests and council preferences and that sort of thing. So there are the list in here you see of projects are not necessarily in priority order. They sort of are. I've got at the top of the list the ones we know are about to happen or more than likely need to happen. And as you work your way down the list, those are probably further out there. But again, those orders could get switched up depending on who wants to develop where, if that makes any sense.
Thank you.
Sure.
If I may also inject to answer your question, in the last 3 years, we have went to the state and asked for funding based off of our current growth and based off of projects that town councils have approved. The state has awarded us almost $20 million total towards those projects based off of what has either been approved or we think is in the pipeline based off of the growth plan that may be. We were fortunate to get those funds, as the town has never received funds like that before. The purpose of these fees is for new development, not anything that is existing, so that we will be able to pay for it if and when it comes. It's one of those, if we don't approve anything and nothing's built, it don't change anything. But if we do approve new developments this year, next year, 5 years from now, these fees will go to pay for that new infrastructure that will be needed after what we're already building and planning to build now. I hope that helped clear it up a little bit.
I think so. Thank you.
So Benji, so that I'm clear, we as a council have to approve this every, you said 5 years?
Correct.
Okay. Hey, is that a minimum or?
Right, that's the, at least every 5 years, this study needs to be updated.
Okay,
You can choose to update it more frequently if you want to.
okay, great, thank you. Any other questions for Mr. Thomas? All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone here from the public like to comment on the system development fee analysis? Okay. If not, I will declare this public hearing closed. Council, you've heard from Mr. Benji Thomas with West Consultants regarding our system development fee analysis. We will consider adoption of Resolution 1224. Is there a motion?
Mayor, I'll make a motion that we adopt Resolution 12-24, titled Resolution Adopting a Water and Sewer System Development Fee Analysis, as presented by our town engineers just now.
Is there a second?
Second, Mr. Mayor.
Motion is made, receive the second. Any question or comment? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion passed. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is item 11. It's a request from Mr. Shaw, owner of Cedar Stump. Is Mr. Shaw here?
Yes, sir.
Awesome.
Okay, hey, thanks. You want to give me a little left and right? Gotcha, thank you. First of all, I want to thank you guys for even considering this and hearing me out. And I want to take a time to tell you guys that our town looks the best it's ever looked. Very proud to be a part of this community, raising my kids here. Just looking at the Greenway with all the landscaping you guys are doing, it's incredible. Looks amazing. Great job, guys. So I'm going to give you a presentation of what we've got going on here. I'm Jeremy Shaw. I'm the owner of 3 locations at the Cedar Stump Pub. We've got one in Troutman here, one in Statesville, and one in Catawba. Troutman was the first. It is my hometown, and very grateful to be a part of this place. During 2020, we had the COVID pandemic. A series of orders issued by Cooper starting in March of 2020 closed all the bars, including those in restaurants. Within a few months, bars had to remain closed, but restaurants and breweries could serve alcohol during certain hours. I am considered a private club bar, so I had to close. And that's when the association and over 185 entities that owned or operated private bars started to sue. I never sued. I just dealt with it, took it right on the chin, went out here on Lake Norman, started building docks to keep my bar afloat. So during this, I'm going to kind of break this down a little bit, but Cooper, he ordered he pretty much ordered that, the greater risk of the spread of COVID, in part because the business model has people remaining in a confined indoor space over a suited period of time. Bar owners said they were equally capable of complying with the reduced capacity of social distancing, just like the breweries were doing. At the time of the orders, Cooper said the decision to keep bars closed was based on data and science. And long story short, I was closed for about 10 and a half months. He later said that bars could serve alcoholic drinks in outdoor seating areas with time limits and with temporary restrictions. So this is where all this kind of comes into play of the situation that we're dealing with at hand. I was literally working as much as I could to try to make my ends meet and continue to pay rent here. So because Governor Cooper said that we could have outdoor seating, I went ahead and started clearing out behind the Cedar Stump Troutman. This is what it looked like when I first started. Just a bunch of overgrowth. Called the father up, my dad, and we got after it. This was kind of us in the process of clearing it all out. You could tell that trash had accumulated there for over years. I bet we went to the dump about 6 different times just clearing out all the trash and debris. Once we got it cleared out, I brought in mulch. This is some of the mulch that I brought in. If you look, that's my van that I was kind of packing it into place. So that was around $3,000 I think I spent on mulch just to try to make it look good. At the time, I didn't realize how important this area was going to become to this community. Once I was finished with it, this was the final product, and this kind of allowed me to open the bar back up to the community because I had an outdoor area. So once I was operating again with people outside, I decided that I really wanted to bring back the music scene. So, you know, it literally allowed me from not losing my pub because, I mean, I had to get open. This was one of the first days that we were actually able to open. So outdoor area was a big hit. Once being able to open again and have customers able to mingle outside, I decided to add the stage. It was very heavy on my heart to be able to give our local musicians an opportunity to perform again. Because people didn't realize that when bars and restaurants are closed, then our musicians have nowhere to play. And a lot of the people that I hire, they've got kids and families they're trying to support as well. Unfortunately, our musicians were affected just as bad as the bar owners because they had nowhere to play. They had 0 gigs. So that's when I decided to build a stage. This is the Shaw Mill stage. You know, I wanted to give back to my country with the American flag. I wanted to give back to the military with my soldiers missing in action. And of course, I wanted to give back to my first responders. The blue line's up there, the red line, the green line flags, these are all first responders. For me, I feel like it's a good filter. If you don't respect those flags, I really don't want you into my establishment. So it was hand in hand, it was a way for me to kind of give back to everybody. We've all kind of been through it during that time. When we brought the music back, it kind of became the heart and soul of our town again. That's Miss Tanya Wood on my stage right there, playing to the guests. She's actually in the back here. She's going to say a few words. But everyone was really feeling geared up, you know, for the social scene again. I mean, of course, we all are social creatures, and we need interaction. And we were able to do that through this process. I also wanted to lift up the small businesses because they were impacted a lot during the COVID pandemic. These are a lot of the regulars that come in. I decided that, hey, man, let's give them an opportunity to lift those guys and give them a place to be able to just show what they do for a living, you know, an outlet. It's worked out really well. Well, during this whole time, I thought I was actually on Dr. Patel's land. I was told that he owned the land back to the fence. At the time, I was strapped for money. I probably should have got a survey. I'm not screaming sane over here. I made a mistake by not doing that, but taking his word, I thought he knew exactly where his land was. So I was under the impression that all is good. I was on my landlord's land. 2.5 years later, these are also some other local businesses that I've got. I've got a whole slew of local businesses. Miss Tracy Fox, who owned the building that is now the Passport building that you guys own, she decided to get a survey done because she wanted to sell the property in a year. So here's the bird's eye view. When she got the survey done, she had no idea that her property even went back that far. She told me, she's like, I had no idea, Jeremy. I see that now that you're infringed on my property a little bit, and of course my heart hit the floor because I mean I put in a lot of countless hours and work to have that. So you know, we thought about it, and I didn't want her to feel uneasy, so we created a land lease. But before we did the land lease, I wanted to let you guys know, you know, shooting from the hip, kind of what I'm infringing on. So 1 acre's 43,560 square foot. I'm roughly at 2,520 square foot. So right at 0.06 acreage comes out to be 2,613 square feet. So it's a very small portion that I'm infringing on. But needless to say, I'm infringing on it. This was a land lease agreement that I have talked to Tracy Fox about doing. I talked to my insurance agent, Lance Harden. We drew something up, had my lawyer draw it up, and we were going to just go ahead and, proceed with that because it was going to literally alleviate all of her her issues, which was, something happening out there if it was going to, come back on her. So before we actually implemented this land lease, Tracy decided that, you know what, I'm going to sell the building. I want you guys to have it. So my wife actually wanted to buy that building to make her office, and we had a verbal agreement. And long story short, a cash offer came in, thousands and thousands over what I was going to give her, and she ended up going with that cash offer, which was the town. Furthermore, I've let Dr. Patel and Jody know about what's going on, and this is a certified letter from them saying they're willing to buy that portion of land if it's for sale. If we go back, yeah, here we go. So here's the property line that they're willing to take over. Yeah, I know I'm only infringing on the bright yellow, but they're willing to go ahead and buy all the way back the dark yellow place if it's available. Now, granted, I know that's a decision that you guys got to make. Now, the small yellow part is what I'm infringing on now. But the dark area right here has a lot of beautiful trees. It could be turned into a beautiful spot if given an opportunity to put some hard work in. So if you guys decided not to sell that portion of land, I would be willing to, maybe do a 5-year lease agreement. I would provide the town as an additional insured. I've talked to my insurance agent. He said that wouldn't be an issue at all. It relates to the liability coverage that my policy already holds. The town could rest assured they would be covered as well in the event a claim did occur. And I could send you guys an attached file showing the insurance coverage that I already have. I've got a tangible copy of a letter here that my insurance agent sent me if you guys want to see it. In the future, I plan on expanding into the subway. At my Catawba restaurant, I'm offering food, and I would like to bring that same menu here. It's doing really well in the small town of downtown Catawba, and we all know we all need more restaurants in this town. So I'm hoping to expand. I'm getting plans drawn up now. I know there's a lot of different hurdles I got to cross, but I'm in the process of doing that as we speak. Yeah, I'd like to have an outdoor seating area for people to enjoy food in those shade trees. I would take care of all the maintenance of the property, the pruning, the landscaping, the mowing of the grass, spraying for mosquitoes and bug spray, and hopefully, create more foot traffic by having a great menu for food and lunch and dinner. And then, a spot that people can walk through our downtown to and enjoy, a nice meal, a nice beverage, and some nice music. I wanted to kind of give you some pictures of what we're serving in Catawba right now. Now, this is one of my bloomin' onions. Very proud of that. That's a top seller. Very good. Here's some quesadillas. This was a burger special that we had. So I'm just kind of giving you an idea of what I plan on bringing to the table. With this area that I'm using right now, we've done a lot of good things. One thing was a memorial fundraiser for my buddy here, Alex. He was a regular of mine and tragically had a motorcycle accident and passed away. And the community was heartbroken. I mean, he was a great guy, hard worker, had 2 boys, and we put together a fundraiser for him with that outside area that I'm using. And we were able to raise over $3,000 to pay for his funeral cost. Here's some pictures of that right here. It's the outdoor area.
Also, with this outdoor area, we are now part of it's the first Thursday of every month. Steve and Dave's, they're a bluegrass road show that travels all through the North Carolina, from the coast to the mountains. These guys are known. They bring in a lot of people in the area that would normally never stop in Troutman, due to the music and the music scene that we've created here. Everybody knows Miss Danny Kerr. She's a local celebrity. She's here tonight. She's actually going to be performing at Party at the Park this weekend. But, you know, she started doing open mics with Tanya Wood when she first started, and now she's been seen on America's Got Talent and let everybody know that she's right here from Iredell County. So it's definitely drew a big nationwide fan base to this area, and a lot of people are coming here. Also considering that you got 77 and 40, two major highways, this could really turn into something special. Miss Brooke Lee's another one. She was Queen City's Female Artist of the Year. That's Charlotte. She just went on tour with Willie Nelson and opened up for his tour. So just wanted you guys to be aware that Troutman's just not the small town anymore. People are starting to figure out that there's a lot of talent in this area, and I'm doing my best to get the word out and embrace it. And having that stage out back and you know, the community involvement with my musicians have definitely done that. Open mics right now on Wednesdays. Tanya Wood actually hosts that. It's a special night. Sometimes we have anywhere from 5 to 6 hours of straight music, live music of artists that come in and they want to show their skills. And it's almost like sometimes you think it's like a festival. There's just so many different talents that come in, whether it's a saxophone or a guitar or a banjo. It's really special, and we've created something special here in this town. In conclusion, you know, music gives the soul to the universe, wings to the mind, flight to the imagination, and light to everything. The love that we have at our local spot, it's undeniable. This area is special with talent, and I love to keep the magic going. I'd hate to have to see that stage move, considering that the area that it's in, it's not really being used. It's a low-lying area. Would love to maybe, you know, discuss this and move forward with what we're doing. I appreciate your time.
Great. Thank you, Jeremy. Jeremy, before you leave, any questions for Mr. Shaw?
What, your exact footprint? I know you had up there, you know, the dark orange that Dr. Patel offered, possibly in his letter. But your actual footprint, how much are we talking about there?
On the square
The actual
footage?
where, you know, where your seating area is and the stage, and that's it.
So, I mean, when I bring the food in, I would like to actually have some seating area outside. The footprint that I have now is mostly just in that bright yellow area. The dark area that Dr. Patel would like to purchase, I mean, it's going to need some work. It's going to need some cleaning up. But right now, the little area that I'm in is mostly just, you know, kind of more like pub-style tables like this that you stand up and just enjoy a beverage.
So that yellow area.
Yes, sir. But
right
there's a bright yellow and then the dark yellow. The bright yellow is what I'm using right now. I don't know if you can bring that back up or not, but you got the clicker. Something. Oh, did you?
I'll get it for you.
Thank you. Yeah, on my cell phone, that's the only highlight that I could do is yellow, so I apologize for the confusion there.
So again, you know, I'm just, what you're currently needing or using.
Yep.
You know,
And listen, I would be okay with what I'm currently using. I'm happy with that.
That's what I'm, yeah. that's what
Yes, sir.
around
I'm happy
there.
with that.
How much area are we talking about there?
So
you had the 06 acres a while ago.
yeah, it was. It
Now
came
it's
up to
more.
about 0.06 acres. So yes, sir. So the bright yellow area is what I'm infringing on right now.
Right.
Now Dr. Patel said he'd be willing to buy from the 159 point on back. And then, you know, with the plans that the town has for the Wagner Street extension, I mean, I really don't feel like it affects anything that y'all have plans for. But right now, I mean, I'm happy with just keeping my bright yellow spot that I'm infringing
Just a
on.
bright spot there at the
Yes,
bottom.
sir. Yes, sir. I can make that work. Yes, sir.
So I have a question. You finished, Paul?
Go ahead.
So I came out there Monday?
days.
Monday.
Yep.
Yeah, Monday, we came out there. I'm ashamed to say this is the first time I ever been there. But you said you were eventually gonna do the, least subway area?
Yes,
the
ma'am.
Subway spot? Just hear me out here.
Yeah.
So what about that space where it says 159? Is your stage movable? That's my question.
Well, so, yeah, the stage is movable, no problem. The only thing with the 159 right there, it wouldn't give us enough area for people to enjoy the music because that's actually part of Dollar General from what I'm understanding. The 130 section there is what Dr. Patel actually owns.
So he owns that 130 and over to the left, where that big tree is right there?
Now, that's where I would move it. If I had to move
You
it,
had
that's
to
where I
move
would,
it.
yes, ma'am, that's where I
Yeah,
would move it.
yeah.
Yes,
Well,
ma'am.
you had my heart because you said food and music, so I'm
Yeah.
all in this.
Well, and I feel like the town needs, you know, the town needs.
And that food looked good too. Yeah.
If I may, this area here is what the town owns going that way. Where this number is actually Dr. Patel's. What Mr. Shaw spoke about here is where his current stage is.
Mhm.
This area here is actually zone residential. So until there was some type of zoning change, we couldn't honor his request because it's residential. We didn't discover all that until the process.
Right.
And Mr. Shaw and I talking with the town attorney, talking with planning and zoning, but because initially it started out, as Mr. Shaw said, hey, outdoor drinking, then it became outdoor music. We actually have complaints over here of residents because of the amplified music, which is against town ordinance. So even if you all decide to proceed with a sale or a lease, this will have to go through a zoning process first.
Right.
If that passes, then a lease could go into for whatever you all decided or a sale, if you decide.
Gotcha.
Did that explain to you all?
So-
And to all those that are here?
I got a question for you, Doug. So
Yes,
the area that the actual building's sitting on, is that residential too, or is that commercial? That's commercial.
Yes,
So it's the same land, but half of it's residential and half of it's commercial.
correct. In about our.
That's
research,
confusing.
There was actually 2 lots at one time.
Okay.
At
How
the
do
time,
you get to that lot though?
You can.
Yeah.
At the time, there were 2 lots, and there used to be a wagon street back through here, I was told.
Oh, okay.
Before the 40s, 50s, when these houses were built.
I got you.
But this was 2 lots. Mr. Campbell, that owned the cleaners, owned the 2 lots. But at some point in time in his business plan, they said combine them, reculminate them is what it's called, so that it's one deed. And that's why it still has 2 different zonings currently.
Gotcha. Well, that's news to me. I was under the impression that I was all one big commercial lot. And, you know, where there's a will, there's a way. I mean, I'll do whatever it takes. But being in the register of deeds, as long as you have, I'm sure you know exactly what you're talking about.
Mr. Hinkle?
Look, on the spot that's just right there by where your pin is, that bright spot, the brightest, not the whole rectangular there, but that right, the brightest spot is my understanding, Jeremy, correctly, it's just the bright spot, not where your pin is, but down below that. It's kind of like if shining a flashlight on, and Jeremy, you correct me if I misunderstood you. Yes. Now, that's your footprint that I was talking
Yeah,
about.
the footprint that I'm infringing on is more like the trapezoid thing there, the bright yellow spot. The dark yellow is what Dr. Patel said he'd be willing to purchase if given the opportunity. Coming back from the end of his lot over.
Pictures he showed with his stage and everything is right here where my hand is.
Yes, sir.
That's it.
Yes, sir.
I see, okay.
Yes, sir. That's the part that I'm infringing on as we speak right now. And listen, if I have to move it, I'm okay. I mean, I'll figure it out. I'm just grateful that, thank you, buddy. I'm just grateful that I had the opportunity to use it for this long, because if I hadn't had it, I probably would have went under. So at the end of the day, I gotta, give thanks to God that I had the opportunity to use it as long as I have, because I wouldn't have been able to continue to pay rent there without being open, and it allowed me to open up. So,
Question,
Yes, sir.
You know, town manager or Andrew, the rezoning of the orange part, would that be required if we were to somehow work out a situation, whether it's a sale or a lease? You're saying the orange part
Yes, sir.
would need to be rezoned from residential?
That is correct.
And the yellow, because it's part of the.
That's part of it, yes, sir.
That is
Okay.
correct.
Okay,
Both parts.
both parts. Okay. Are there any houses on that?
No,
That's other right now, it's all
No,
vacant.
so Truett's Bank is kind of, right behind me there. There is a house more toward the south here. Now, there is new residents that have moved in there. Before, I went around and gave everybody my business card and said, hey, if it's ever a problem, please call me. But normally when I perform on the outdoor stage, it's during the hours from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. I never do it late night, and it's normally just a single act acoustic, acoustic guitar and a microphone. I never have like bands out there with percussion and drums and stuff of that nature. I live a block away too, so I mean I understand. I want to be respectful.
So you'd be agreeable, as you say, the afternoon, but even if you
Yeah, I
say
would
it's the
never ever
evening-
do a night thing out there. Absolutely not. It's always during the day. Normally on Sundays from 2 to 5.
I know, there've been a few down in Charlotte, and surely the neighbors have been able to accept 9 p.m. if,
Right.
They may not
Correct.
be totally happy, but they can accept it. Something
Correct.
like a 9 p.m.
Jeremy, do you have a stage inside too?
No, ma'am. I've kind of got a corner that I, sectioned off, but no, ma'am. We do the best we can with what we got. Yeah.
You serve alcohol out there,
Yes, sir.
outside?
Yeah. Well, I don't serve it. I mean, people are able to walk out and have a beer. Yes, sir.
Oh,
no, to clarify, is alcohol sold on the inside, but once they get it, they can walk outside?
They walk outside. Yes,
so
sir.
that doesn't have anything to do with open container or on private property?
Well, under his bar license, that is allowed with what he is, how he is selling the alcohol and where they consume it is allowed under the current rules.
Other questions?
What, Mr. Town Manager, our attorney the other day advises because it's town land, okay? Alcohol can't be on it, so that would be one of the problems with leasing it.
Well, just like the request, if you all choose to either sell or lease, then that means it then triggers the snowball effect of not only does it have to be rezoned so it could be used, then it would also have to change the town ordinances on town-owned property. Currently, our town ordinance only allows alcohol on town property at town-sponsored events with approval from the state.
I have a question. You talked about either buying or selling this whole dark yellow area, or not buying, leasing. What would you plan to do with all of it if you had that much area?
I would make it beautiful. I really would. I would make it as beautiful as our greenway. I would take pride in it.
How much space do you have inside of that building for a restaurant? I mean, is
So
your seating gonna be outdoor?
I'm currently at 1,500 square foot, but it will be 3,000 once Subway, once I can expand. I'm in the process of doing that now.
The town manager had referenced this property line isn't actually correct on this map. Are you aware of any location of pins, if that was?
Yeah, so there's some
Also
yellow,
cited.
or some pink ribbons that are out there.
So is this a proper representation of the property line, or is it over further?
Yeah, it's as close. This is an actual. You can get this drawing, this bird's eye view drawing, if you go to something my wife has that she's a realtor, so you're able to access this. I can't remember the name of it exactly.
If I may,
GIS.
Yes, sir.
Iredell County GIS.
GIS.
It's just an overview.
Yes, sir.
And it is not
Precise.
supposed to be precise.
Right.
Exactly.
It's kind of just, gives you kind of an idea. But I will say that, on that right corner there, it does get smaller, and so I mean, it is in the right vicinity, so to speak. Yeah. But, you know, I was just thinking with those trees that are out there, it's, I mean, you got everything from cherry trees to black locusts to cedars. I mean, if done right, that could be a great shaded area that I feel like the town, the community would definitely like to embrace. More or less like a beer garden.
Other questions?
You guys ever been to Daviste Vineyards? Yeah, I mean, if you go there, you know the shade trees and the stage and how they got it. Something along those lines, just a smaller scale.
I'm assuming that at this point, there's a motion regarding it. It's gonna have to still go to planning and zoning.
If you all were so inclined to proceed with allowing it to go to zoning, we've got a couple things we need to deal with. One, he has an existing facility there. That regardless of whether you all lease or don't, or sell or don't, we've got to get the extra indemnity on his insurance until the stage is removed or there's an agreement for it to stay.
Okay,
It
so
is
let's
also-
stop right there.
Mhm.
So I'm sorry, I'll cut
No
you off.
worries.
So number one, are you willing to provide the insurance and indemnity based on what Mr. Wyatt is
Yes,
saying?
sir, I could have that going tomorrow.
Okay, so I would need Gary to look over that and make sure we got the proper documentation for that, if we so chose. Didn't mean to interrupt you, but
That has to happen regardless.
correct.
Right.
Immediately. The second part is if you all choose to sell or lease, then that's when we, Mr. Shaw and I would meet out there and basically, agree gentlemanly what part he's wanting versus what part you all are willing to lease, and determine if there's a dollar amount that you all are satisfied with that he would do. Currently on our real estate, we default to our real estate agent to determine values. We as staff do not, and council has not previously. So I would recommend we at least allow him the opportunity to say, well, this is what the space should be. If that's in agreement, then we would proceed forward with some type of agreement that our town attorney would look over, as well as Mr. Shaw's, to say that both sides are happy with the lease as he has proposed it here, or with the sale, which, and that would be just like some of these others that are pending tonight, contingent upon it getting passed. That does not obligate you all to pass or not pass. It's just the legal process that would have to go through for that to occur. And even though it's a non-conforming use, Mr. Shaw did not do that intentionally. That we have determined at the time, he thought it was his landlord's property when he went there. Once he determined it wasn't, he went to the property owner and had verbal agreement, because the written part never was signed. And when the town then bought the property, we then started doing our due diligence and learned that the stage was completely on that part. And then that's when we started the conversations. So it's different than somebody going out and doing something when they should have known, hey, let me do these 5 things first. In this situation, he had Dr. Tell's permission and proceeded under that realm. So 1, you all agreed to. 2, it would be he and I to meet, or another staff member, to determine what area. There could be enhancements, fencing, things of that nature, not only to show a division between a town property that is being used and currently zoned as commercial. There's different ways of doing it if that's what you all choose to do.
And I want to reiterate the fact, if you decide not to, I understand. I want you to know that I'm grateful for the opportunity that I had to be able to keep this dream that I got alive with the use that I've had in my 2.5, 3 years of having it. But it's so special to the community and to myself that I wanted to at least give it a chance, you know? Sometimes you swing, sometimes you miss, but sometimes you hit it out of the park, and hopefully we can figure out something to where we can make this really, really cool for the town.
So, council, you've heard from Ms. Shaw and from Mr. Wyatt. Number 1 is, I think we've got to address the immediate request, which is to allow this activity to continue until either the lease or sale or a decision is made. If you decide that you don't want to sell or lease it, then we need to communicate that to Mr. Shaw at this time.
Mr. Mayor, if I may, before you all move to that decision, I have also expressed this to Mr. Shaw before, but I have not stated it to you all for public accountability. My personal suggestion as a staff member is we should not sell the property until DOT defines what of that area is going to be as far as an intersection goes. As far as the lease, leave that entirely up to you all, but staff suggestion is not to sell a portion of the property that we bought to adhere to the 2017 plan that was made to have a Litton Street extension. But as to the rest, certainly you all's pleasure.
Town manager, you're saying even I'm looking, again, I made it clear a while ago, I'm looking at that yellow, just the highlighted part,
Yes, sir.
just what he's using now,
Yes, sir.
being 0.06 acres. Do you feel that that would be, I could see selling the whole part. No, I'm not interested in that personally, but the yellow part, do you feel that that would be an infringement on anything DOT? I know, I realize that's, what is.
I really could not answer other than all of that property was in the plan to be purchased by the town,
Yeah.
including where Subway, the Cedar Stump, and Dr. Patel's office is. So if that was the original plan, I was not involved in those meetings. I can only assume there was conversations with DOT at the time stating that it would need to go on perpendicular. How many feet we would need off of residential properties, where that street would actually go at this point, a swag would even be a good comment for it.
Right. Okay, are you asking for a discussion right now?
Well, yeah, I got a question.
Okay, excuse me.
Would like to address this to Gary. So leasing wise, okay, and rezoning, are we covering the town's insurance problem with alcohol being out on the property?
Yeah, sure, if you lease it, I mean, we can put language in a lease where they have to protect, and you can require a certificate of start insurance. Lou showed me, just showed me an email, I guess, from legal municipalities recommending a certificate of insurance of something like $5 million. I don't know that Jeremy can afford that. I don't know what the premium for that would be. So if you wanted to have a requirement, I would say it probably should be at least $1 million. The league apparently recommended $5 million.
Yeah, I think I'm at 2 million right now, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have to go back and look.
So, Mr.
All
Mayor,
that could be required in the lease,
And we would be protected if we lease it.
not as well as you could be protected from anything. I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I'm covering the area that I'm leasing, and that brings you guys completely out of it.
You're currently covered $2 million.
Yeah, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's 2 million right now. If it's not 2 million, it's $1 million, and I probably should have done my due diligence on that, and I apologize.
And the league is saying 5, Gary?
The only reason they said 5 is that's what we're currently covered at. So that's why they gave us that number. They said it is obviously up to you if you would like to accept less or none. That is also in their response for when we address the situation.
Thank you, Mr. Joseph.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to postpone any voting on this lease or sale at the moment, and until we have lease options in front of us, the proper due diligence for the amount of property he wants and what he'd like to do with it. I mean, this could be an asset for development of that area and also the appropriate zoning request in that lease.
That would give me a chance to do a comparable market analysis too, if need be. You would want to compare different areas to see what it's worth.
Okay, so motion's on the floor to postpone until
Next meeting.
next meeting for some additional due diligence Could your motion also include,
There are some things I'd like to add to it.
okay,
So it being included that tomorrow the insurance rider be put on it at 2.5 million. We'll go half with the recommendation because it is to our discretion at this time. And is there any other stipulations?
okay,
I have a question on this motion.
okay.
I understood only lease. I thought we were gonna look at both lease and sale. If you're talking, looking, the town manager, was willing to go out and talk with Mr. Shaw and look at both, and again, my concern or my focus is just on the yellow part, his footprint, shall I say. But again, look at that and see, both from a
Lease or
lease
sale
and
of
a
that?
sale,
Okay.
All options. So
Yeah.
we can have a
Okay.
wide range of choices.
I will accept that.
Is there a second to the motion?
I will second that.
Okay. Any other question or comment?
I'll get with my insurance agent tomorrow.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate your time. Thank you.
I will consider go ahead and getting a survey.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Wyatt, will you speak with Mr. Shaw about that survey?
Absolutely.
Okay, great, thank you. All right, next item on the agenda is a rezoning request, CZRM 2401. The applicant is Atlas Principals LLC, 13.55 acres. The pins are in your packet. It's located at 129 and 131 Shermill Lane to rezone from Troutman Suburban Residential to Troutman, Town of Troutman. Conditional zoning, mixed residential, CZRM. I will open this public hearing. Turn it over to Mr. Ventresca.
This is the case that the applicant has asked to defer to next month. So as we discussed earlier, I think we're going to make a motion to go ahead and open the public hearing and then immediately make a motion to continue the public hearing to next month.
Okay, thank you. Is there a motion to continue the public hearing until next month?
I'll make a motion to continue the public hearing till next month.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. We will address this item next month. The next item on the agenda is annexation request AX 2404, non-contiguous. The applicant is William and Samantha Deal, 2.02 plus or minus acres. The pin is 4740, 6889, 59, 740, 774 South Main. I will now open this public hearing. Mr. Ventresca.
Thank you. This is an annexation request voluntary of 2.2 acres. The applicant, as the mayor had stated, it's William and Samantha Deal. The property is currently zoned Iredell County Residential Agriculture, or RA, and we'll get more into the zoning on the next presentation I'll give. Location is 774 South Main Street, and the staff does recommend approval of this annexation. As you can see on your monitors, the property in question is outlined in red. It's just across the street from the Redwood apartment complex. It's adjacent to the new mini storage that's being built at the corner of Main Street and Barkdale. And with that, I'll open it up for any questions on the annexation.
Okay, any question for Mr. Ventresca on the annexation request? Okay. Anyone here from the public like to comment on this annexation request? Okay. Seeing none, I will close the public hearing. Council, you have heard from Mr. Ventresca regarding the annexation request. We will now consider adoption of ordinance 1424. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Okay. There's a motion on the floor to approve adoption of ordinance 1424. titled An Ordinance to Extend the Corporate Limits of the Town of Troutman, North Carolina, non-contiguous. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any question at this time? Okay. Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. The next item is a rezoning request, which is RZ 2404. The applicant is William and Samantha Deal. It is 2.02 plus or minus acres. The pin is, as I referenced in the annexation request, at 774 South Main Street to rezone from Iredell County residential agricultural to Town of Troutman Highway business. I will now open this public hearing. Mr. Van Truska.
Thanks again. This is the rezoning request that goes along with the annexation we just heard. So the applicant and the property owners are the same. Again, it's currently zoned Iredell County Residential Agricultural. They're requesting to go to Town of Troutman Highway Business. This is a traditional zoning, meaning that there's no site plan required. The annexation was just heard and approved. The property size is approximately 2.2 acres. Again, this is the map we just saw, the location of the property. Current zoning map. Property, again, is outlined in red, and it's shown in white. White is the RA district for Iredell County. What you see in orange is highway business, Town of Troutman. What you see in pink is Town of Troutman mixed residential. And that bluish color up in the right-hand corner of the map is conditional zoning heavy industrial. And this yellow color down here is Iredell County general business. I will say that these out parcels on the Norman Creek subdivision that are in pink, and there'll soon be an out parcel of the, I believe this was called the Beam property. That's here in pink also. Those were approved as being commercial out parcels of those residential developments. So most of this corridor here is either commercial or going to be commercial. Future land use plan, what you see in brown is high density residential. The red you see down here is general business, and we have some general business up to the north. This is a tractor supply site where I'm pointing at right now. You can see this medium density residential, which this property currently is. It's just a little dot, it's kind of surrounded. So the likelihood of that being developed, medium density residential, is very small. I did want to include this map. This map shows properties since 2021 when I started working with the town that have either been zoned to non-residential or partially zoned to non-residential, and those are the parcels you see here outlined in green. So as you can see, this area is transitioning from any kind of residential to non-residential. Recommendation, the planning board did recommend approval of this unanimously at 4-0. The request is consistent with recent zoning changes and consistent with current development in the vicinity of the request. Again, it's not consistent with the future land use map, but being that it is consistent with the recent changes in the vicinity of the area, planning board felt that this was felt to recommend approval to the board, and staff also recommends approval. And with that, I'll open it up for any questions for me.
Any questions for Mr. Ventresca? Okay. Anyone here from the public like to comment on this rezoning request? Okay. Hearing none, I will declare the public hearing closed. Council, you've heard from Mr. Ventresca regarding the applicant's request. We will now consider adoption of ordinance 1524. Is there a motion regarding the adoption of this ordinance?
I motion to adopt this ordinance.
Motion's on the floor that we adopt ordinance 1524, changing the zoning classification of the after described property from Iredell County residential agricultural to Town of Troutman Highway business. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is made, receive the second. Any question or comment? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. We will now consider approval of the consistency statement, and I would ask that you read the full statement.
Though the highway business district is not consistent with the 2035 future land use map, the request is consistent with current development patterns in the zoning designations of adjacent and nearby properties. The request is reasonable and in the public interest as it proposes to allow commercial development in areas of Troutman where it is appropriate. Also, medium-density residential uses are not compatible with the zoning and development patterns in the immediate area.
The consistency statement has been read. Is there a second?
Second.
Any question or comment? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. The next item on the agenda is the annexation request. AX 2405, non-contiguous. Applicant is Gerardo Cruz, 1.227 acres plus or minus. The pins are in your packet, and it is 466 and 470 East Monbow Road. I will now open this public hearing. Mr. Ventresca.
Thank you. This is our second annexation request of the night. It is 1.227 plus or minus acres. I do want to say this is 2 parcels, and that's total. So each parcel is approximately about 6/10 of an acre. The applicant is Gerardo Cruz. This is currently zoned Iredell County, single family, or R20. We'll get more into the zoning on the next presentation again. It is located on East Monbow Road. It's about a quarter mile from the Colonial Crossing subdivision going south on East Monbow Road. It's non-contiguous. This request is for town water, which is policy of the town now, that if utilities are requested, they must voluntarily annex into the town. And like the last one, the staff is recommending approval. And again, we have the locational map. It is East Monbow Road with the Colonial Crossing subdivision to the east, and this is on the west side of East Monbow. So with that, I'll open it up for any questions for me.
Any questions for Mr. Ventresca?
Andrew, I have two actually, and I know we briefly touched on this Monday. How close is the water supply there, our water lines?
It's basically going right down in front of the properties.
And I also noticed the more detailed map, there is a little strip of land between those two. What was that size of that? Was it just a sliver, or?
That's basically the frontage on part of this parcel in the back.
Correct.
So it's part of this bigger parcel in the back.
So it's not a part of obviously it's not a part, I mean,
It's just, I imagine this property owner who, I'm not sure it's undeveloped land, it's just portion that they're holding on for something in the future, I imagine.
thank you.
Any other questions? Andrew, as I understand, there are several homes being built on that strip, or kind of
That's
on that
right.
same side.
There's currently 2, I believe, that are built and lived in, and then there's one under construction, which if approved tonight, they'll hook up to the town water. And then the second one, the one to the north, hasn't been built on yet, but it will be.
Okay. No other questions for,
And it's just water, Andrew, it's not sewer?
That's right. We do not have a sewer line that extends that far at this time.
They could get it if they want to pay for it. They just don't have it.
okay. If no other questions for Andrew, I will close this public hearing. Council, you've heard from, I'm sorry, I need to ask if anyone here has a comment regarding this public hearing or annexation request. Okay, I will now close this public hearing. Council, you've heard from Mr. Ventresca. We will consider adoption of ordinance 1624. Is there a motion regarding this ordinance?
I will make that motion. Make the motion we adopt ordinance 1624 title, an ordinance to extend the corporate limits of the town of Troutman, North Carolina, non-contiguous.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is made, receive the second. Any question or comment? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. The next item is a rezoning request, RZ 2405. Applicant is Mr. Cruz. As mentioned earlier, 1.227 acres with the previous pins on East Mambo to rezone from Iredell County single-family residential conditional use district to Town of Troutman suburban residential. I will now open this public hearing. Mr. Ventresca.
Okay, this is the zoning request that goes along with the previous annexation. Again, Mr. Mayor stated most of this stuff on the screen right now. The request is to rezone the property to RS, or suburban residential, which is minimum half-acre lot sizes. This is a traditional zoning, so there's no site plan included as part of this application. As stated, the request is for town water, and the property total size is 1.227 acres, but it's 2 lots, each about 6/10 of an acre. Locational map we saw on the last slide just shows it's on the west side of East Mambo Road. Current zoning map, this purple is the R20 district, conditional use for Iredell County. Across the street in this light green color is town of Troutman RS, so it's in close proximity to some RS zone property with the town of Troutman. Pink out here is what you see, that's the Colonial Crossing subdivision. Future land use map shows this as low density residential, which is 1 to 2 units per acre. Being these are 0.6 tenths of an acre, basically this meets low density residential. I will say one other thing, being that the minimum lot size is a half acre, there's no way that these lots can be further subdivided unless they come back to you for zoning of some sort. So if we approve the RS zoning, they cannot be subdivided any further. Planning board did recommend approval 4-0. Staff does recommend approval as well. And the reason is the request is consistent with the future land use map. And with that, I will open it up for any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Ventresca? Okay. Anyone from the public like to comment on this rezoning request? Not, I will declare the public hearing closed. Council, we will now consider adoption of ordinance 1724. Is there a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I'll make the motion. We adopt ordinance 1724 titled, an ordinance changing the zoning classification of the after described property from Iredell County Single-Family Residential Conditional Use District IC-R20-CUD to Town of Troutman Suburban Residential RS.
Is there a second?
A second.
Motion is made, received a second. Any question or comment? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. Next, we'll consider the approval of a consistency statement. Please read the statement in full.
I got it. Rezoning the property to suburban residential is consistent with the 2035 future land use map to allow appropriate low-density residential development at this location. The request is consistent with the currently adopted Unified Development Ordinance. The request is reasonable and in the public interest as it proposes to allow residential development in areas of Troutman where it is appropriate.
There's a motion on the floor regarding our consistency statement. Is there a second?
Second.
Any question or comment? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is a text amendment, TA 2404, to amend Article 6.2.2, multi-tenant signs of the town of Troutman, UDO. I will now open this public hearing. Turn it over to Mr. Ventresca.
Thank you. This request comes to us from Bright Light Signs, and they're requesting to allow multi-tenant monument signs to be increased to 12 feet in height, where the current maximum is 10 feet. The reasoning given in their application is, one, it would increase the size of the panels on a higher speed roadway that we have in the town where these signs would likely go, making it easier for the public to see, and that's a safety concern. The second is, with the additional 2 feet, it can improve some of the aesthetic elements of the sign. I included these on the screen just for reference. I just want to say, if approved, this is an ordinance approval, so it's not based on one site. But these images you see here, the first one, it shows approximately what the sign would look like compared to about a 6-foot-tall human being. So I thought that was a good reference point to see. And the second one would be, it's a real-life image with a 12-foot sign kind of imposed, so you can kind of see a real-life situation. recommendation. Planning board did recommend as presented, but they did add language that says the cap of the sign shall have a distinctive aesthetic element within the 12-foot parameter. Staff also recommends approval of this amendment because, quite frankly, I don't think 2 feet is that much of a difference. I did want to address that at Monday's meeting, it was asked if the electrical message signs, if they could be used, and if so, how much could be used for this sign. Per our ordinance, these multi-tenant monument signs do not allow any kind of electrical messaging signs. So these would just be interior or exterior lighting only. And with that, I'll open it up for any questions.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Ventresca? Okay. Anyone here from the public like to comment on the text amendment? Okay. If not, I will declare this public hearing closed. We will now consider adoption of ordinance 1824. Is there a motion?
Mayor, I'll make the motion that we adopt ordinance 1824 titled an ordinance amending the Town of Troutman Unified Development Ordinance.
Okay. The motion's on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
Any question or comment? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. We will now consider approval of a consistency statement. Please read the full statement.
Who has it up?
I gotta get to it.
I don't have it.
I don't have one.
I don't see it. Is it in here? You got it? Yeah.
All right, I'll make the motion regarding consistency of this action, that this text amendment is consistent with the 2018 strategic plan and Unified Development Ordinance, reasonable in the public interest. It is consistent goals of the Troutman strategic plan.
Motion is made on our consistency statement. Is there a second?
Second.
Any question or comment? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you. The last item on our new business is the proposed fiscal year 24-25 Town and Troutman budget. I will now open this public hearing. Turn it over to Mr. Wyatt, Mr. Mooney.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. The Town of Troutman's annual budget by its process is to some a terrible, stressful time. Each department director is taxed with having to review all the factors of their department, which include past, current, and predict future expected demands. They will then review my directives as town manager and wish list from their own department and those in the community who want more and more. More is not just lovely items or wish list. For many, more to some is an improvement in the quality of life that we all desire. So adding park amenities do that for many. Adding to greenways for walking, running, and bike riding exercise is another excellent example for many others. Ensuring we have enough staff to handle all the citizens' needs and issues is definitely a great example. Former United States Secretary Jacob, or as most called him Jack Lew of the Treasury, said, "The budget is not just a collection of numbers, but an expression of our values and aspirations." I am pleased to work with such an awesome group of employees and department directors that understand our small town way of life. They also understand we are a growing town. They wear multiple hats, doing more than just their assigned job duties to ensure Troutman is the best place to live, work, and play. I tender to you our 2024-2025 fiscal year budget. There is no fanfare or hidden items in the budget. This budget will have an increase of approximately 31% overall, the accepted budget of last year. General fund is increasing around 26%, mostly due to the increase in personnel in the police department, the Parks and Rec department, and the admin department to keep up with the town's needs as the towns grow. As the town is growing. Our budget proposal includes the tax rate remaining at 0.50 cents per $100 assessment. The utility fund budget is increasing approximately 42%. That is mainly due to a budgeted increase in additional personnel that is anticipated to be needed, as well as an increase in the water rates that the town is charged. Also, with the town's growth, the volume for water and sewer expenditures increases, along with the increased costs in supplies and equipment needed to maintain the water and the sewer department. The budget proposal will leave current water and sewer rates for citizens intact. We continue to benefit from unprecedented growth residentially and commercially. We are aware of the future demands that growth places on staff to provide services that our current residents are used to receiving and demand as we grow. We have also increased full and part-time staff in the Parks and Rec, as that facility is continuing to be built methodically per our park master plan. The police department is also gaining staff positions. We are better prepared to serve our citizens by having backup clerks and clerks for our utility department, persons ready to fill in as needed. We are still playing catch up in some areas. However, we are mindful that previous patches to the town-owned parking lots got us some more needed time. We will continue making necessary street repairs and replacements and have those items in our budget proposal. We will continue growing our Troutman ESC Park per previously approved plans. We have and will continue to make necessary upgrades to the landscaping around our new amenities. We are hoping to add more structures in the park for picnic areas. This will be subject to certain projects being on budget or less. We will continue to add to our streetscape. And just as a sidebar from my letter, I appreciate Mr. Shaw earlier, as a business owner and resident, recognizing the hard work that the staff has been doing for the aesthetics of our town. The security of our citizens is not only a statutory obligation, but it's our priority. Troutman Police Department is growing in qualified, needed personnel. We continue providing the needed training and getting appropriate certifications for our officers to perform their duties more efficiently and safe. We, however, are out of space. We have insufficient locations for evidence storage as officers continue making more cases and more arrests. Also, our officers need more room to do their admin duties and training in a suitable environment. We continue to plan for growth by adding properties to our town as they're available. We need some of them for space to continue serving our citizens until a new town hall is built, just like the passport office that we was talking about earlier. It does not only just issue passports, but it has 3 additional offices that will soon be utilized by town personnel. Other properties were purchased so the town can revitalize the downtown area and be prepared for the future growth there. Those projects are continuing, albeit a snail's pace in some of our opinions, but they are continuing. We do have a certificate of occupancy in one of those units and expect the others to be completed within months. We will soon offer a couple of those retail spaces available for different people that would like to lease. I said retail, it could be sandwich shops, but they would be business property. The town adopted a plan for that growth back in 2016 and 17. I'm glad, due to the budget saved, that we've been able to proceed with those projects. Also, future streets coming from development will require additional liability to the town for maintenance and repair and go on our POW bill. We are planning appropriately for those replacements and repairs. The budget allows us to continue properly serving the citizens with as little cost to them as possible. More importantly, it is reflective of our team's dedication to performing frugally and proficiently for each taxpayer. It also allows us to continue preparing for our future needs. One thing I'd like to add there, we have more staff that are also town of Troutman taxpayers than ever before. So when we pass a budget, it directly impacts us first. I'm sorry, when you all pass the budget. I will reiterate my closing statement of last year as it still remains true. It is not necessary to do extraordinary things to get extraordinary results. That quote exemplifies our team of staff members and their dedication and job performance. I'm proud of each and every one of them. Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of the council. We appreciate you for providing us the necessary funding so that we can continue serving the town relevantly. I would also like to thank you all for the dialogue back and forth, going back in the winter months when we began the budget process to make sure we got answers to the questions that you all and some other citizens had for you all to ask us. I respectfully present the budget and request approval.
Thank you, Mr. White. Any questions for Mr. White? Anyone here would like to comment on the proposed town budget? Okay. If not, I will declare the public hearing closed. We will now consider adoption of ordinance 1924. Is there a motion?
Mayor, I will make the motion that we adopt ordinance 1924, titled Town of Troutman Fiscal Year 2024-25 Budget Ordinance.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's made, received in second. Any comment? Before we move on, I'd like to appreciate all the time that Ms. White and Mr. Mooney and the staff put in to update us on our budget priorities. It does reflect our priorities and growth as we move forward. I thank the council for the many questions and many comments and dialogue around this particular budget. I know over the years, and we continue to get questions around, are we going to increase our overall taxes? That is not the case in this budget. There are some increases in services. Those are directly related to costs. Again, appreciate council and the staff in trying to hold down as much of those costs as we can, but understanding that we are a growing town. And again, appreciate the feedback from the community and how we went along to draft this budget as well. So with that, I will call for the vote regarding the approval of this ordinance. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. Excuse me. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is public comments. The public is entitled to address the town council with comments and concerns. The public is limited to 3 minutes per individual. We would ask speakers to sign in at the podium and adhere to policy 51, titled Policy Governing Your Comments from the Public at Town Meetings. Is there anyone here who would like to address the town council with the public comment? Please come on up. Please state your name and sign in at the podium.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, good evening, Town Council, good evening, staff, and everybody else. How's everybody?
Good.
Good? I know it's been a long meeting, and it's a pleasure to see you all again. I am Team Shaw, Team Cedar Stump Hub. 2019, he and I went in together and started, my name's Sonia Wood, by the way, and in 2019, we started doing this whole open mic thing. And we've talked about open mic night before, and I can never express the magic that happens in that little place that some might call it a bar, but we call it our sanctuary. We call it our spiritual refill. And Troutman is such a special town. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with someone named Jim Lauderdale, but he is from right here in Troutman, and he is a world-renowned bluegrass musician with 31 albums that comes from right here in Troutman. There's another fellow right around the corner, his name's Tommy Malva. He is a world-renowned fiddle player in the bluegrass industry. What Mr. Shaw and myself are trying to do is make Troutman and Iredell County a music mecca. And that generates all kinds of goodness for our community, for our members that live here, for people who are currently moving here. Wow, y'all, we could be bigger than Nashville ever was, if you so choose. I mean, if you're gonna dream, dream big. And what all started out as just one little old sliver, I cannot tell you how many hundreds of lives were saved during the pandemic because of that one little sliver, and the goodness that has come from that one little sliver since we were able to be there. Sorry for the conditions that it all transpired, but as time grows on, so do we. So we learn from our mistakes and we grow from our mistakes. What Mr. Shaw has created at the Cedar Stump Club is not just about music. That's my most favorite part of it, because it has put a lot of food in my belly over the last 6 years that we have collaborated together. But it's not just me. Mr. Shaw's a dreamer. I'm a dreamer. And we inspire other dreamers by telling them that you are the key to your happiness. You are the one that fulfills what you need by following your dreams and following your passions. And we're following our dreams and our passions. And we encourage others to do it one little sliver at a time. And let me tell you, the food in Catawba is amazing. So when he does acquire the space next door to expand his business, that is going to be even more valuable to the asset of your beautiful community. And it is a beautiful community. The Parks and Recs Department and groundskeepers are doing an amazing job. I am someone, I just live up in Statesville, but I travel a 100-mile radius of this area, and I see the downtown revitalizations, and we see how so much of Main Street closes down at 5 p.m. But with out-of-the-box thinkers like Mr. Shaw, I'm hurrying, I'm back away. It creates a stronger nighttime environment, which creates more revenue and more tax dollars for you, and your budget can be approved even more because more money's going to come in. And if you give me the whole piece again, oh my goodness, all the things that we could do. Just, I'm Team Shaw, y'all. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
I want what she's taking.
Yeah.
It's called music, darling.
Yeah. Jeremy, I assume she's on your payroll.
Sorry, I like to talk, y'all.
Yeah.
Your name is what, dear?
Audrey Fleming, and I live at 350 Tally, and when I turn into Tally House Street, it's messed up. It needs to be.
Talking to the mic so everybody can hear you, dear. Thank you very much.
Okay, my name is Audrey Fleming. I live at 350 Tally. When I turn in on Tally Street, the road there is messed up. If the cars is parked in the middle, you try to turn in, the road is messed up. It needs to be repaired.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Ms. Fleming. We will get with the state and see what we can do about that.
Before we leave tonight, talk to me and Andrew so we can know exactly what you're talking about, or I'll go and look at it, okay?
Okay, I will.
Thank you.
Anyone else like to have their 3 minutes to address town council? Great. I will now go to item 6, elected official reports and comments. I will start with council members. Mr. Jarozinski, you're up first.
All the way over here. I'd just like to resonate what some of the citizens have already said, how good the town is looking. I think it goes back to the implementation of the Earth Day cleanups that was just less than two months ago. there's less trash blowing around. It seems to be more upkeep. Parks and Rec is doing a great job with the greenway. It's really all you see when you come through Troutman and spend a lot of time on 21 waiting in traffic. The paving at exit 42, it's nice to see that that's being done. It's really cleaned up that area. There were some rough roads in that area. I haven't, and also speak to Gary, I haven't known you long, but learned a lot here in the last 6 months. And I'd like to commend you for your service and your retirement. And just a comment to Jeremy, I don't think that I had commented on earlier, but I'd like to make sure that you get with the staff and the attorney on the details and agreements ASAP to get the information over to us for review. And then, thank you to the staff for doing such a great job running and managing the town.
Ms. Harris?
Gary, thank you for everything. I've only been here for a few years, but I appreciate you and your knowledge and everything that you've brought to the town. I'm only 27, so you came when I was born, so, but anyway. But thank you for everything, Gary. We truly appreciate you. And I wanted to just piggyback on what Nick was saying about the town and what Jeremy has said about the town. You can tell we love our town. We truly appreciate the staff for all that they've done. Doug, of your leadership with them, just taking such good care. Any given day I'm outside and I see people picking up trash, not people, staff, picking up trash and making sure we're taking care of our town. And you even see citizens helping when the got torn down off of the fence. We had citizens come and try to help. I love this town just like everybody else, so let's just continue to love on our town and be passionate. That's my favorite word about our town. I just wanted to just quickly about what Jeremy was talking about. My husband's a musician. I book events, I book bands, and I don't think anybody up here was trying to take away what you have and what you are doing for the town. We want things like that in our town. Tanya, thank you. Tanya, right? Thank you for all that you said. I love music. I absolutely love it. I have to. My mom was a choir director. I'm married to a musician, all of that. So I have to love music. And but we thank you for what you're doing for the town and what you're trying to continue to do. So again, we'll get all this together and get it all worked out and continue to have great businesses like yours in the town of Troutman. Hope to see you all at Party in the Park tomorrow night. It's gonna be fun. My son told me, he said, "Mom, ooh, Party in the Park is tomorrow." He said, "I think I've been going since I was like 3. And I was like, so he said, "I'm gonna bring my girlfriend tomorrow." So, yes. But anyway, so they're coming to Party in the Park. I hope to see all of you out there on tomorrow night, 4th of July, fireworks. Hope to see you out there as well, and the parade. That's it.
I dance like John Travolta if I said.
Mr. Now.
I never took one dance.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to thank Gary for all his years of service to the town of Troutman and to the citizens of Troutman, and working with you for the last 4.5 years. It's been a pleasure. Going to miss you, but we'll keep going and try and find a good replacement that can rival what you've done for us. But thank you. And just like to invite all our citizens out to our events in June and July, and our fireworks and Party in the Park and our parade. Thank you.
Well, Gary, I'll say my goodbyes for when you actually leave. I would still get to talk to you and see you, so, but I certainly concur with my other 3 learned colleagues on everything they've said. Your son takes his girlfriend, I'm gonna take my wife. What do you think of that? I look forward to seeing everybody there tomorrow night, and also along with Nick and Lena, I want to say that I look forward to next month's report back on hopefully what our town manager and Jeremy have been able to work out, the options available to us, and we can take them and discuss and see what we can or can't do, and we'll go from there. And I too want to see our businesses flourish. Jeremy, I've known him a long time, and he's a good individual. Think the world of him, and he brings a lot to this town in the form of good. Even though it's a bar, it's still good, clean, wholesome entertainment, and appreciate that, and,
Thank you.
hopefully we will, I'm not gonna say hopefully, I'm gonna say, we will, hopefully, I can't say that. Hopefully, I guess I gotta say that. But, hopefully, and I mean that sincerely, we can work this out.
Yes, sir.
And I look forward to you and our town manager, bringing us back some options that we can work with. Thank you.
You can take your girlfriend, but it better be
I'm not
Rose.
gonna say that, but my wife might be listening.
No, well, it better be your wife, that's all I'm saying. Yeah, Rose will hunt you down, that's all I know. Yeah. Again, I want to thank the staff for the work that they've done on this budget. I know it's a lot of work, takes a lot of time, a lot of questions back and forth, and so again, appreciate Justin and Mr. White for being close to the town enough to present with our leadership of our town those items that are priorities for us and for our citizens as we move forward. Justin, Jeremy, again, I won't reiterate anything anybody said. My point is, I think this council has wrestled with any questions, and I appreciate the spirit in which you approach the council to ask. I'm not sure, probably as sure as Mr. Hinkle is, but I'm not sure what the outcome will be. But whatever that is, again, appreciate your business and what you do in the town, and also giving back, because you do a lot of support for the town and giving back in a lot of different ways. And so appreciate you and Mrs. Shaw, your girlfriend as well. So thank you, appreciate that. And lastly, we do have quite a few events going on, as have already been mentioned. I know the staff is going to put in a lot of hours for those events. Again, they won't go unnoticed, so again, appreciate what you all will do for us the rest of the summer as well. This time I'll turn it over to Mr. White for staff comments.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council, for the wonderful things you said. I also would like to appreciate all those of you that took time to come out tonight, regardless of the motivation. It is super nice to have people here, and to reiterate what you said, Mr. Mayor. We have hurdles every day in town government, and to have somebody that is trying to meet and present in a respectful manner to look for solutions is the process, regardless of what the outcome is, the decision is. Anytime there's those things, especially involving government, very seldom are both going to walk away happy, but that is certainly the process that we need to follow, and I appreciate it being done so as professionally as it has been. I would like to reiterate you all's thanks to each department director and then them to some of their staff for helping us get to the budget that we have. I left out the big number, but as we did last year, we are still saving money toward the eventual building of a town hall, so that hopefully by the time that footprint is decided on how big it needs to be in the appropriate placement, that there will not be a need for a tax increase going forward to pay for that and the remodel of this building to be the standalone police department. I do sincerely appreciate those citizens that take the time to contact either the department directors or myself with questions. Social media is not always the appropriate place to get your answers. We do not mind responding when we are given an opportunity, and for those that have participated several of the meetings to get to where we were, I'm appreciative of all of those. But at this time, just to reiterate, y'all said last, we've got party in park tomorrow. Some of us will get out about 11 or 12, but we will be here and hope to see all of you all there. There will be refreshments. If it's as hot as it is tomorrow, then I'm sure will make some of you feel better. And then our parade, there is still time to get applications in. please send them to the rec department by way of Amber or Emily. And our fireworks night is appearing to be a good turnout and a program for our community and visitors as well. But thank you all very much.
Thank you. At this time, I'll accept a motion to go into closed session pursuant to General Statute 143, 318, 11A6 to determine the qualifications and conditions regarding appointment of a public officer. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion, sir.
Is there a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you all for being here. We appreciate it. I'll take you, we'll see you out there dancing tomorrow.